Hi, welcome to my channel. Today you're going to learn about how to find the domain of a function. Domain means set of x values, or also known as input or independent variable. So dito ngayon ang focus natin ay sa x values. Now, look at the given example here. This is a linear function. F of x is equal to x plus 1. Now, in linear function, we can substitute x with any numbers or any values. So, when we say any numbers means all real numbers. Why real numbers? Because we have other numbers like complex numbers, imaginary number, or imaginary numbers. So here, we are just talking about all real numbers, which means that the domain in this kind of function, which is a linear function, are all real numbers. So we just write all real numbers. Now, we can write that in interval notation. In interval notation, domain from negative infinity up to positive infinity. Okay, now look at this one. This is the graph of the function f of x is equal to x plus 1. In graphing, we know that in linear function, the graph is a straight line. And we only need 2 points in order to draw a straight line, which means we can have two values of x. So I have here f of 1, which is x is equal to 1. Remember, x here is what we call the input. So instead of writing x, we write 1. Then you're just going to substitute 1 plus 1, that is equal to 2. So the first point is 1 is x, 2 is y. F of x is equal to y. So we're just, it's just the same way of saying y is equal to x plus 1. Now, in my other point, I substitute here x is equal to 2. So f of 2, that is 2 plus 1, that is equal to 3. So the next point is 2, 3. Now, sa graph ko dito, ito yung 1, ito yung 2. That's the first point. Ito naman yung 2 and 3. And then I just simply connect the 2 points. Now, look at this one. This is extended going there, and this is extended going there. Which means that kung i-increase ko yung value ng x ko dito, ma-extend lang yung graph. So wala siyang limit. That's why it up to positive infinity. Now, on the side, ito naman, pag in-extend natin ng ganyan, wala rin siyang limit, so it means up to negative infinity. It means ang domain or ang x, pwede tayo mag-substitute ng all real numbers. Okay? Now, look at number 2. F of x is equal to x squared plus 4x plus 2, and this is quadratic function. Why? Because of the degree, or is the highest exponent here is 2. And this is the graph of quadratic function. It's a parabola. This time, it opens upward dahil positive ang a natin dito. So dito, madali lang kung marunong ka na sa graphing. In case na nahirapan ka, mayroon akong videos about how to graph. Linear, quadratic, or function, or quadratic equation. Now, paano natin malalaman yung x dito? Okay, look at the graph here. So ito yung x. Dito lang tayo nagpo-focus ngayon sa x. Napansin nyo, yung graph dito, ito kasi mag-extend din yan. So, as we increase the value of x dito, itong graph mag-extend yan at mag-stretch yan, mag-becomes wider and wider, going there, going there. Okay? Now, same on the other side, sa negative din, mag-extend din siya. So, it means na yung coverage ng x values natin, same thing, from negative infinity up to positive infinity din. Na iyang ibig sabihin, Sa quadratic function, pwede tayong mag-substitute ng kahit anong numbers. So again, here, ang domain natin, yung x values natin, all real numbers. So pareho sila ng linear function. Na kung saan ang domain dito also in interval notation from negative infinity up to positive infinity. Now, paano ba mag-graph nito? Okay? So sa pag-graph ng quadratic, dapat mag-start ka lagi doon sa turning point. Dito. Ito yung turning point, also known as the vertex. And that is HK. Kung naalala nyo ang lesson niya about quadratic equation. HK wherein H is the value of x and K is the value of y. Bakit sa turning point tayo mag-start? Kasi pag nag-graph tayo, pag hindi sa turning point ang starting point mo, pwedeng ang lahat ng values na ma-assign mo lang ay dito lang makikita. So hindi mo makikita yung buong quadratic function na graph. O kaya, pwedeng dito lang. Kasi kung lahat positive lang ang isa-substitute mo, yung graph mo, papunta lang doon siya. Kabila lang nito. So, pag positive and negative ang isa-substitute nyo, or wherever ang starting ng turning point niya, makukover yan. Okay, so dapat start sa turning point. So, naalala nyo ba yung formula on how to get the vertex, the h and the k without changing the given quadratic function into vertex form? To find for h, simply negative b, over 2a. That's the formula. Okay? For here, ibig sabihin, kailangan natin alamin kung ano yung A, kung ano yung B, kung ano yung C. So sa given natin ngayon, ang A natin ay 1. Ang B natin dito ay 4. At ang C natin ay 2. Okay? So substitute lang natin. To find for H, that is negative 4B divided by 2 times 1. Which is equal to 2 times 1, that is 2, negative 4, divided by 2 is negative 2. So, negative 2 ang h natin, which is also x. Now, to find for f of x, or y, or k, pwede yung isubstitute lang natin dito. Okay? Isubstitute lang natin yung value ng x sa given expression or equation dito. O kaya, meron din tayong formula on how to find for the value of k, which is 4ac minus b squared over 4a. So now k is equal to 4, a is 1, c is 2, and then we have, okay, 2, and then minus b, which is 4, squared, all over 4 times a is 1. So k is equal to 4 times 1 times 2, that is 8, and then 4 squared, that is 16, divided by 4, k now is equal to negative 8 over 4, which is equal to negative 2. 8 minus 16, that is negative 8, divided by 4, negative 2. So, negative 2. So, kaya nandito yung starting point natin lagi. Then, pag nagkaroon ka na ng starting point mo, ibabalance mo na siya. Negative 2, pwede ka dito magkaroon ng negative 1, then 0. Sa side naman na to, negative 3, negative 4. Ang i-assign nating value sa x para mabuo natin yung quadratic function na graph. And then, again, sa substitute lang natin ngayon, ang given equation natin is f of x is equal to x squared plus 4x plus 2. Now, pwede nyo gawin f of negative 3, f of negative 3. Dito muna yung value ng x. Input natin negative 3. So, negative 3 squared plus 4 times negative 3. Substitute nyo lang lahat ng values ng x. Plus 2 para makuha natin yung f of x or y. Okay. This is 9. And this is negative 12 plus 2. Okay, so here, positive 9 and positive 2, that is positive 11 minus 12, negative 1. So, negative 1 dito. Okay? So, pag ituloy-tuloy nyo yan, yung mga values ng x na isa-substitute natin, and then, so, makukuha natin dito ay negative 1, and dito naman ay 2, f of 0 is 2, f of negative 1 is negative 1, f of negative 4 is 2. Now, actually, meron kayong technique dito pag nag-start kayo sa turning point. Napansin nyo, pag nakuha nyo na yung turning point, ito, laging magbabalance yung result kung sakaling sunod-sunod din, consecutive yung number na i-assign nyo as value ng x. Napansin nyo dito, negative 2, negative 1, 0, negative 3, negative 4. So, sunod-sunod siya, di ba? So, ang makukuha nyo, once na makuha nyo na yung turning point, kahit dito, isa lang ang kukunin yung value. Let's say, negative 3 is equal to negative 1. Then, dito ngayon, negative 1 din dito yung f of x natin. Dito 2, dito 2 din. Magbabalance siya kasi laging yung graph natin is a parabola. So, magbabalance yan. Yung side dito at yung side dyan. Okay, so yun yung technique para hindi nyo na kailangang i-substitute lahat ito. Okay, so that's how you're going to find the domain of quadratic function. Now, what about if you are given like this? F of x is equal to 3 over x plus 2. Fraction. Okay, so alam natin na may restriction tayo pag nagdi-divide tayo, di ba? Hindi pwede ang maging denominator natin 0. Kasi magiging undefined yon. So, ano ang possible ngayon? So, ibig sabihin dito, hindi pwedeng magiging, ano ngayon ang magiging value ng x natin para magiging 0 ang denominator? Pag nag-add tayo ng parehong number but magkaiba ng sign, 0 ang result, di ba? So dito, para maging 0 ang result dito, ang x natin ay negative 2. Negative 2 plus 2, that is equal to 0. At hindi pwede yon. Hindi pwedeng maging denominator natin 0. So yun, ibig sabihin, yun ang restriction natin ngayon. Yun ang hindi pwedeng value ng x na i-assign natin. Na kung saan magiging 0. Now, para ma-solve natin yan, dahil dito madali lang, very simple lang. Pwede tayong mag-isip kung ano bang pwedeng i-add natin sa positive 2 na magiging 0. So, negative 2. So, it means na ang gagawin natin sa pagsosolve dito, we're going to set the denominator not equal to 0. Okay? So, x, solve for x, lipat nyo lang sa kabila, maging negative 2. So, x should not be equal to negative 2. Ibig sabihin dito, lahat ng numbers ay pwede nating i-substitute as value of x, which means lahat ng numbers pwede nating i-substitute as domain except negative 2 kasi magiging 0 siya. Okay? Now, since x lang naman ang concern natin, i-graph natin. So, kung ito yung 0, ito yung 2, here's negative 2, ang hindi lang kasali doon ay itong negative 2. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng points, lahat ng numbers going to the right from negative 2 at going to the left from negative 2 ay pwede nating i-substitute as value of x. Okay? So, anong gagawin natin ngayon? Ano ngayon ang magiging domain natin? Ibig sabihin, all real numbers except negative 2. Nakuha nyo? So, lahat ng numbers except negative 2. Now, paano natin gagawin? So, pwede nyo naman ilagay yan, isulat all real numbers except negative 2. Or pwede nyo gawing interval notation. Pag naka-interval notation siya, ibig sabihin, ang domain natin, magsisimula tayo sa negative infinity. Dito ang positive infinity natin. So, pag infinity, ang gagamitin natin lagi ay parenthesis. So, ibig sabihin, magsimula tayo sa negative infinity. Yun ang mga values ng x na pwede natin i-substitute. Hanggang negative 2. Negative 2 ang ilalagay nyo dyan, but then, ang ilalagay nyo parenthesis also. Bakit? Ito kasi nag-i-indicates na hindi kasali ang negative 2. Okay? Then, yun, start ka against sa negative 2. Again, hindi kasali yung negative 2. And then, hanggang positive infinity siya. Okay? So, hindi lang natin isinali dyan ang negative 2. Okay, so that's it. That's the domain of this function. Very easy. Okay? So, dapat dito, pag hindi kasali, i-open nyo siya. Open circle. Or pwede nyo rin isulat all real numbers except negative 2. Okay, next. Okay, look at number 4. We have f of x is equal to 2x plus 3 divided by x squared minus 4. Okay, so here, again, tingnan natin, naka-fraction uli siya. So, dapat dito sa fraction, again, hindi pwedeng magiging 0 ang denominator natin. So, ano ba ang pwedeng maging value ng x natin dito na kung saan pag in-square natin ay 4? Kasi 4 minus 4, that is 0. Ibig sabihin yun ay hindi pwede. So, again, set the denominator not equal to 0. X squared minus 4 is not equal to 0. Now, look at now this expression here. Pwede nating i-factor ito. Okay? This is difference of two squares. Square root of x squared, x. Square root of 4, 2. Kasi ito ay difference of two squares, so plus dito, minus siya dyan. Okay? So, ang gagawin na natin para ma-solve natin yung x, not equal to 0. Dito naman sa kabila, x minus 2 not equal to 0. So, we can now, x lipat sa kabila, maging negative 2. So, not equal to negative 2. Dito naman, x should not be equal to positive 2. So, ayan, dalawa ngayon ang values ng x natin na hindi pwedeng i-substitute. Why? Because if you have negative 2 squared, that is still positive 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And then, pag positive naman siya, positive 2 times positive 2 is still positive 4. Minus 4, that is 0. Okay? So, dito ngayon, ang domain natin ay dapat all real numbers except negative 2 and positive 2. Now, pag ipa-plot natin yan, para mas madali yung maintindihan, okay, so ano ibig sabihin dito? Hindi kasali ang negative 2, hindi rin kasali ang positive 2. Okay? So, may restriction tayo ngayon dito. Now, paano ngayon natin isusulat yan? Ibig sabihin, lagyan natin ng color. Ibig sabihin, pwede yung points or graph papunta dito, pwede yung dito sa gitna, pwede rin papunta dito. Pero hindi kasama yung ito mismo, yung negative 2 and positive 2. So now, paano natin isulat yan using interval notation? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so let's have domain now. So start ka dito. Since dito siya, laging mag-start tayo sa negative infinity. So negative infinity dyan, positive infinity. So negative infinity, okay, papunta dito. So negative 2, pero hindi siya kasali. And then, start ka, we have union. Sorry, let's be negative 2, simula ka ulit sa negative 2, hanggang positive 2. Again, parenthesis ang gagamitin natin kasi ibig sabihin hindi kasali. Then, another one, from positive 2 up to positive infinity. So, ayan ang magiging interval notation natin. So, mula negative infinity, ang number na isusulat natin up to negative 2, pero i-open parenthesis natin kasi hindi kasali siya. And then mula again dito, papunta dito, hindi kasali again yung 2, kaya ito yon. And then mula dito hanggang dyan, hindi kasali ang 2 hanggang positive infinity. Okay, so ganun lang kung paano kunin yung domain ng ganitong given rational function. This is rational function actually. Okay, now, look at this number 5. Ang denominator natin, sa number for example natin, x squared minus 4. So, minus doon. Dito naman ay plus. Okay, now dito may pagkakaiba sila. Kasi since ito ay addition, at alam natin na pag in-square natin ang negative ay magiging positive, dito ngayon, walang pagkakataon na magiging 0 ang denominator. Kahit anong number ay substitute natin dito, hindi magiging 0 ang denominator. Okay, bakit? Kasi di ba pwede lang dito para maging 0 ay negative 9. Okay? Negative 9 dapat ang maging value ng x squared natin para magiging 0. Now, paano siya maging negative 9? Walang possible na maging negative 9 kasi ano siya? X squared. Pag isa-substitute natin ng x ay negative 3, pag in-squared natin yan, positive 9. Pag sinubstitute natin ay positive 9 pa rin. So 9 plus 9 is 18. Okay? Naintindihan niyo sa part na to? So dito, ibig sabihin, sa example number 5 natin, ay pwede tayong mag-substitute ng kahit anong values ng x dito. Okay? It means, ang domain natin dito ngayon ay from negative infinity up to positive infinity. Okay, next number. We have, look at this one, number 6. It involves radical. Okay? So we have here, f of x is equal to the square root of negative, square root of x minus 2. Okay. Now, ano ba yung restriction natin na magiging value ng x pag square root? Sa square root, hindi tayo pwede magkaroon ng negative inside. Negative 1, hindi natin pwede makuha yung ang square root ng negative 1 or negative 9. We are looking for real numbers only. Okay? Kasi ang negative 9, as we go on or for future lessons, ay pwede nating express yan as imaginary numbers, something like that. But dito, real numbers. So here, dito ngayon, ibig sabihin, ang restriction natin ay dapat ang number, ang expression na sa loob ng radical sign or yung radicand ay hindi dapat magiging negative. Ibig sabihin, we are going to set the radicand greater than or equal to 0. Kasi pag sinabi nating greater than or equal to 0, ibig sabihin nun, positive number siya, hindi siya negative. Okay? So this one, hindi natin pwedeng extract yung square root. So ang gagawin lang natin dito is to set the radicand greater than or equal to 0. So x minus 2 should be greater than or equal to 0. And then we can now solve for x. Lipat lang yan sa kabila, magiging greater than or equal to positive 2. Ibig sabihin, dapat ang values ng x natin ay greater than or equal to negative 2. Bakit? Okay, tingnan natin ha. Ang expression natin is x minus 2. Greater than 2 or equal to 2. So pag ang sinubstitute natin dito ay 2 minus 2, that is equal to 0. So square root of 0, that is equal to 0. Okay? Now, pag sinubstitute natin dito ay 3 minus 2, that is equal to 1. And square root of 1 is 1. So, di ba possible na? Okay. Now, paano natin ngayon kukunin yung domain? So, again, since ang focus natin ay x values, we're just going to draw a horizontal line. Napakadali lang. Ito yung 0 natin. Ito yung 2. Ang kailangan lang natin ay 2. Greater than or equal to 2. Since equal siya, ibig sabihin, solid, shaded ang circle, dahil kasama siya, and that would be going to the right. That's the graph. So, ito ngayon ang graph natin. Okay? And that would be how we're gonna write that using interval notation. So the domain here, that should be like this. Because 2 is included. Start with 2, and then up to positive infinity. So that's the domain. All numbers greater than or equal to 2. Ayan. Okay, next. Last one here. F of x is equal to square root of x squared plus x minus 6. So again, we are going to set the radicand greater than or equal to 0. Now look at this expression here. X squared plus x minus 6. This is quadratic trinomial and pwede nating i-factor ito para ma-solve natin yung x. Mag-isip lang tayo ng factors ng negative 6 na kung saan pag inad natin ang sagot ay positive 1 kasi understood there is a numerical coefficient 1. So that is positive 3 times negative 2. Dahil pag inad natin yan, ang sagot ay 1. Which means here now x and x because this is x squared, then plus 3, and then minus 2. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is set this factor equal to, each factor equal to or greater than or equal to 0. So x plus 3, other one, x minus 2. Now solve for x greater than or equal to negative 3. Here, that's positive 2. So x is greater than or equal to 2. Positive. Here is negative. Okay, so now, this one is quite tricky. Okay, let's have that. This is 0, this is positive 2, and this is negative 3. Now, in this case, this is quite tricky here. Bakit? Since dito, multiplication tayo dito, di ba pag nagmumultiply tayo ng, here, nagmumultiply tayo ng negative times positive, ang sagot ay nagiging negative. So pag negative na ang sagot dito, ibig sabihin, mali na siya. Hindi na siya maging greater than or equal to 0. So ibig sabihin, i-avoid natin yung values ng x na kung saan pag sinubstitute natin dito ang x ay magiging negative ang sagot pag minultiply natin. Kasi magiging, kung negative siya, hindi siya greater than or equal to 0. So ngayon, ang gagawin natin ay magte-test tayo. Since dito ngayon, this is greater than, right? Greater than or equal to negative 3. So ipa-plot natin muna, solid, kasi kasali siya. And positive 2. Now, ang gagawin natin, aalamin natin kung saan dito, mayroon tayong division ngayon. Mayroong values dito makikita, mayroon dito sa gitna, mayroon dito. So alamin natin dito kung saan, kung saan pag minultiply natin, dapat ang sagot ay positive. Magtitest tayo ngayon. Let's say, ititest natin dito, ano yung number na greater than 2? Let's say 3. So ititest natin yung 3. So dito 3 plus 3, that is 6, right? And 3 minus 2, that is 1. So here 6, ang sagot dito ay 1. 6 times 1, that is 6. 6 is greater than 0. Okay? Sorry, ulitin ko. Diba ito ang given natin? X plus 3 times x minus 2. So ngayon, pag ititest natin ay 3, 3 plus 3 times 3 minus 2, greater than or equal to 0 ba siya? So 6 times 1 is greater than or equal to 0, which is true. So ibig sabihin dito positive, kaya pwede itong maging, yan ay solution. Lahat ng numbers na makikita dito kasama ang 2 going to the right ay considered as domain. Now, in between, let's say substitute natin ang 0. So we have 0 plus 3. Ito lang ginamit natin, okay? Itong factors na yan. 0 plus 3, then we have 0 minus 2 is greater than equal to 0. So this is 3, 0 minus 2, that is negative 2. At ang sagot dito ay magiging negative 6, which is not greater than 0. So ibig sabihin dito ay magiging negative siya. Now, itatry naman natin yung dito sa side na to. Ano bang pinaka number na pwede natin substitute? Negative 4, di ba? Negative 5. So try natin negative 4. So negative 4 plus 3, and then 0, negative 4, o minus 2. Ano ba yung given natin equation? Factors, I mean. Okay, the factors is x plus 3 times the quantity x minus 2. Okay, so we have here, substitute natin, negative 4 minus 2 is greater than or equal to 0. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. This negative 4 minus 2, that is negative 6. But negative 1 times negative 6 is equal to positive 6, which is still greater than or equal to 0. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng numbers dito, since ito ay positive, pwede siyang maging domain, or domain siya ng function. Okay? So all numbers from negative 3 going to negative infinity, all numbers from positive 2 or including positive 2 going to positive infinity. So now the domain, okay, so from negative infinity, then negative 3 here, and since kasama siya, yan ang magiging symbol na gagamitin natin. And then, Start ka again, yun. Then, kasali din ang positive 2. Then, up to positive infinity. Okay. So, yan ngayon ang magiging domain ng function na ito. So, here from negative infinity up to negative 3. Then, from negative 3, from positive 2 going to positive infinity. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng numbers na nandito makikita in between are not included as domain. That's all for this video, and alam ko medyo mahaba tong video na to, but then kung gusto nyong i-cut at ito lang yung part na gusto nyo, ay pwede nyo lang i-forward. Bye! See you on the next one.